In a day and age where we question the integrity of the police force due to political climates, this story, in particular, should shine a bright light onto an individual that is an inspiration for all police officers out there, as well as all of us outside of the force. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to our channel. Today, we are going to cover a story centralized around an inspirational individual that deserves to be in the spotlight during these dark times. His name is Tommy Norman, and by the end of this video, you will only be left with love and respect for this man. Before we dive into the story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click on that little bell so you won't miss any of our stories, because we have a lot more content planned similar to this. First, let us take a good look at the protagonist of today's story. Tommy Norman was born in 1972 to parents Modena and Dean Norman. He was the youngest of the family, with 8 siblings. He grew up in a small town in Arkansas, just a small distance away from its capital, Little Rock. Right after Norman graduated from North Little Rock High School in 1990, he found himself taking part in jobs that served the community just a year after. In the time period between 1991 and 1998, Norman worked as an orderly at a hospital. He put in hard work to provide for his loving family. He was certified as a nursing assistant at Riley's Oak Hill Manor Nursing Home. Norman also served as a mental health worker at Pinnacle Point Hospital. Sometime past that, he volunteered for the Big Brothers non-profit organization. His fascination towards finding career paths that served the community was truly inspirational, but a thought that came to him at the age of 26 changed his life, as well as many others that got to know him over the years. His trajectory towards helping people eventually led him to apply to the North Little Rock Police Department. He worked hard at the police academy and found himself successfully graduating with flying colors. He was accepted to the force straight after. Now that we have some insight on how Tommy Norman got to where he did, let us look into what makes him truly exceptional. Tommy Norman found himself patrolling the streets of North Little Rock on his very first day. However, things suddenly took a turn when he saw a group of children notice his police car, get up, and run into a house that was close by. Norman found this behavior rather odd, as he decided to stop by and ask them what caused them to run away. He looked around the house attentively before approaching the front door. As he knocked on the door and asked if everything was all right, all he heard was a woman's voice coming from the other side, saying that everything is fine. Norman wanted to clear up the confusion, hence why he asked why the children ran away when they saw his car. However, what he heard coming from the other side of the door in response alerted him even more. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just children. Norman was dumbstruck as the realization suddenly sinked in. Confused, he asked the woman, "Did they run away from me?" Deciding to set things straight, Norman spoke to the woman. "Please open the door. I just want to talk to them." As the door slowly opened a few seconds later, Norman politely spoke a few words that will stick with the community for years to come. Norman said, "Ma'am, I have only one purpose here, and that is to help every resident in this neighborhood that might need my help." After that, Norman took the time to bond with the children and set their worries to rest. Norman wanted to ensure that he wasn't there to mean harm to anyone. It turns out that the neighborhood he was patrolling was used to much different behavior from patrol officers. The way Tommy Norman interacted with the woman and her family surprised everybody. The expectation the local community had of the police made Tommy's first few days on patrol very difficult, as many local residents would either ignore Tommy's existence entirely or leave the premises. The residents were surprised to see Norman spend time by the streets often, as they were used to seeing officers usually arrive when it's too late or when it's dark outside. It wasn't just tough on Tommy's end as well. His mother would constantly call Tommy and ask him if he's okay, and if he's truly safe there. As Tommy elegantly once said, "No matter how old you get, a mother always worries about her child, and my mother is no different." Tommy later decided that things had to change, and he realized that in order for change to happen, he cannot be just another patrolman. He understood that he had to be a valuable part of the community and gain their trust. He took a different approach from all his previous predecessors. When it came to the law, he only let justice guide him, making sure that all residents are safe and sound. The first situation that needed the involvement of the police since Tommy's arrival is where the people saw where Tommy's heart laid. There was a robbery involving the stealing of copper pipes from an old house. The robber was a man named Willie, and he was detained by another officer. However, when he heard of the situation that occurred within his district, he decided to get to the bottom of things by speaking to Willie. The talk he had with Willie revealed that the only reason why Willie stole the pipes was because he couldn't afford to pay rent. Because of this, Tommy decided to give him another chance, as he had a long talk with him about other ways to earn money without involving himself in crime. Tommy spoke about the incident, as he said, "I just thought that if we put him in prison, it won't make his debt go away. When he gets out, he's still going to be deep in debt. So, who will benefit from this? He'll still have to steal something, so I decided to help him pay off his debt." Tommy took the time to write a post on social media, describing Willie's predicament and describing the situation. The very next day, to his surprise, Norman received a check from the local community, dedicated to paying off Willie's debt, which he immediately set out to do. When Tommy revealed to Willie about what had happened and how the community got together for him, Willie got emotional and cried, expressing his gratitude. It had been 17 years since Tommy Norman arrived in the North Little Rock neighborhood. The years of collective work had not only made him another part of the community, but it had turned him into an inspirational icon. The stories of him helping those in need in the neighborhood are plenty, and there are way too many to recall. One situation that could be recalled is the time Tommy spotted a small child walk by barefoot while he was patrolling. Tommy asked him why he wasn't wearing shoes, and he received a simple answer: he didn't have any. Tommy walked up to the front door of the boy's house where he lived with his mother and siblings. The only thing he asked from the mother were the shoe sizes of the children. The woman was surprised, but she answered. The very next day, he delivered multiple pairs of shoes for that family and went above and beyond to even buy a jacket for the boy next door, because his watchful eye noticed that he was waving at him from outside of his house wearing just a sweater. This is just one account out of many. There are many videos in the internet that showcase Tommy Norman's kindness, as he sings and dances for the children in the neighborhood, as well as spend time with the elderly in order to make their day. He understands that reality is harsh for many people, as he notices children waiting by the bus stops for the school bus. He makes it a habit to always carry food and juice with him in the car, to give out food in case any of the children are hungry. A lot of police officers strive to be a model police officer, like Norman. Tommy Norman went from being just another patrol officer to another beloved figure within the community. His perseverance and drive to make a change has inspired many, and to this day, the community feels safe, knowing that they are under the protection of a dependable police officer that goes by the name of Tommy Norman.